it sounds a little something like this. Pretty cool, yeah? It just adds that very sort of retro sounding overdrive that we need in a rock song. Plugin of the week this week is from our friends at Nembrini Audio, and it is a very cool overdrive plugin called the Minotaur. Yes, cool name, cool plugin. Let's jump in here and take a look at what it does and how it works. So if you don't know Nembrini Audio, they do a bunch. As you can see here, I've got a bunch of Nembrini plugins, the 808, the 8180. They got a bunch of their rack, chorus, delay, flanger, EQ. A lot of them are free and some of them are paid. So do jump over to the App Store, and Crunk V2 is a free amp and probably my favorite free amp that's an AUv3 plugin here in iOS. But we're looking at the Clon Minotaur here today. And like all Nembrini apps, it's super simple looking. It does want me to register. I have already. I'll do that afterwards. And we've just got 3 simple dials here. We've got gain, we got treble, and we've got output. So we'll play around with these. Double tap takes you back to the top. We'll play around with these in just a moment. But let's turn it off for now because I've put together this little bit of a track here. It's nothing special. It's just a guitar loop. And if you want to learn where I got this guitar loop, check the video in the description. I show you how to do DIY guitar loops and samples that you can then export and bring into your project. So at the moment, it sounds like this. Not very cool, right? Not very inspiring because it's a very clean guitar. I've recorded it in here clean on purpose because I want to show you the power of using some amp simulators and plugins here. So let's go over here and go to our plugins and EQ. We'll remove it just so that I can show you how we add in a plugin here. So if you've got your track here, by the way, if it looks like this, all you need to do here in GarageBand is grab this handle and pull out to the side and you'll get all of this, and this will give you much more control over your track. Tap on your little mixer icon there. It may be hidden under a drop down if you're on an iPhone, but you'll get to this section here. Tap the plugins and EQ, hit the edit button, and then if you've got a free slot, which you should, you can hit the plus button. If you don't, just remove something like this effect EQ. We don't need that one, and hit the plus button. Now here are all your standard effects here in GarageBand, and here's your audio unit effects. So if we scroll on down here, all of our Nembrini audio are under NA, and the Clon Minotaur is this one. Now again, we'll just exit that. So we've got gain, treble, and output control here. What we'll do is we'll solo this track so we can just hear the guitar, and we'll play this one here. And at its default settings, let's see what we can do with these dials here. First of all, our gain. So let's dial up and down. In fact, we'll come in here, and we've turned down the volume of our track here for a previous demo. So we'll turn this back up so you can hear this properly. Let's just hear it. There we go. That's better. So we've got a bit more volume there, and we'll just turn that one down. So let's come back in here, go back to our settings here, and let's see what the gain control does. So we turn the gain down. You're getting less overdrive. Turn it back up. Turn it all the way up. So you're going to get a lot more fuzz up this end. You're going to get a lot more clean sound at this end. So we'll leave that somewhere in the middle. Let's play with the treble dial now. We'll leave the gain in the middle and play with the treble. Gets a more muted kind of sound there if you wanted some sort of palm mute sounds. And a more harsh, high treble end sound there. And then finally, we've got our output. So this will help you if you do something here, like say you did want a little lower gain and you wanted more treble here, you can actually make up for it with the output. So let's try this one. Cool. So we've got 3 controls, very simple, very easy to get a guitar sound going on here. Let's try this out on a couple of sounds in a full track. So I'm just going to delete this loop out of here. And here's some loops I prepared earlier. These are the loops are available for free at studiolivetoday.com/loops. Link in the description if you want to check that out. But we'll bring in these G chords because we've got a clean G chord, power chord, and a lead guitar. So we'll grab this power chord and we'll throw it on that first track, just where we were before. Make sure when you're bringing in loops, by the way, that they match your tempo, because with your own loops, you can't actually beat match them. You can use something like Audio Stretch if you want to be able to do that, but you can't do it right here. So we'll then grab another loop This time we're going to grab our clean lead guitar. Now when you're bringing loops in, you don't need to even set up a track for it. Look at this. If we just come down here to a blank track, it will actually create the right sort of track for us. That's pretty handy, yeah. So let's just hear these two guitar sounds together. We've got our lead and we've got our rhythm sounds like this. All right, and we're in G. Now, this bass is not going to match our G because this is in C from the other one, but no fear, because it's a virtual instrument. Because it's a virtual instrument, we can actually edit it. So we come in here to our settings, we can actually change this. No, it's not our settings, is it? It's our edit. Let's try that again. Edit here, we can actually change this from a C to a G. So all we need to do is grab all of these, and they're on a C at the moment, so we go C. Or do we take it down? Yeah, let's take it down to a G. There we go. Now this bass is going to work with us. Bring our drums back in. That's okay, yeah. But what's lacking here is any sort of cool amp sound. And that's what we want to add here. So I'm going to actually layer up a couple of things here, because the cool thing about Audio Unit V3 plugins here in GarageBand and anywhere else in iOS is we can actually add in multiple. So let's work on this rhythm guitar first. So we've already got the Nembrini Overdrive there, but we want a little bit more here. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go into our edit. I'm going to bring the Overdrive down to here, and in front of it, I'm going to add in the Nembrini Audio Crunk V2. So this way we can actually have an amp sim beforehand. So we'll turn off the Minotaur for now so we can see what this amp sim is going to do. So this is the Crunk V2. We'll use one of our factory presets, shall we, here. So let's go with a crunchy preset, like the Crunch A is going to sound like this. That's going to be way too intense. We're going to go back to our clean. So our clean crunk. So that was probably a little bit intense on that one for what we're looking for. So we'll lower the output on our crunk. And give it a little bit less bass. There you go. So we've got on our rhythm guitar, we've got a little bit more crunch from the amp, and then we can layer it up with the Minotaur like this. Give it a little more treble. There you go. Now we've got some nice scrunchy bass. So yeah, if we take a listen to this, the original version without anything was like this. If we add in that Crunk V2 amp sim, we get this. Sounding better. But we want a bit more of an overdriven tone. We grab the Minotaur and yeah. Right, we're getting there. So now we've got this lead guitar part. So we play this along now. Ah, no. See, now we've got this tone that's really wussy, and we need to improve this. So once again, we come in here to our plugins and EQ. Let's tap on this one. We'll grab... now this time we might not even want the crunk. We might want something a bit different. So we might want to go with, say, the 8180. This will probably be pretty intense, even at its default settings. So let's take a listen. Yeah, that's pretty intense there, but that's just to show you one of the other Nembrini amps that you can. That's a paid one. I think it's about $10, but worth checking out if you like your amp sims. But we'll leave that off for now, and this time we'll just use, because you don't actually have to use an amp sim. Sometimes just using something like the Minotaur will be enough. So if we come in here and we tweak this, I should probably say don't show me again when I get to those. So now we can play around with this Minotaur, and let's dial in the tone that we want here. Yeah, so that's the sort of tone that we want. We'll bring it all back together. We get something like this. There you go. So you can bring together a whole combination of things here. Again, we've got the Crunk V2 and the Minotaur there. Here we're just using the Minotaur, but what happens if we add this 8180 back in? So we really do layer it up here. This is going to be intense. So I'm going to turn the volume down. Let's take a listen. That's pretty cool. get that old school 90s grungy kind of sound. So there you go, the Nembrini Clon Minotaur, a free overdrive plugin for your guitars. And of course, you can use it on your virtual instruments too. So I could throw it here on this P bass if I wanted to. If I wanted to get a bit of an overdriven bass sound, we can throw it on here. You can put it on any track you like, any virtual track, any other track. Let's take a listen to this. Oh, that sounds cool actually. Yeah, that's the way. And we still have this little error here where it shows as orange. If you just tap off and tap back on, it'll go to the right icon. That's just an iOS bug that we have at the moment because actually I haven't updated this to the latest version. Apparently that's been fixed in the latest version. But there you go. That is the Nembrini Minotaur Overdrive plugin. Download it for free right now, available on your App Store.